Alright then guys, welcome to the video, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Ignite Automotive as well. And as you can see on the floor, there are a lot of parts down there, and the plan for all of this stuff is to go on the underside of the S2000. This has escalated quite a bit since my last video with the car, because as you may have seen, I've been down to Nitron and picked up a new set of coilovers, but also that Ignite Automotive have jumped on to do a restoration on the underside. So I've ended up ordering a few more bits because of that, as well as there's probably also actually going to be bits that aren't here yet, because we're probably going to find things, because the level that this is going to compared to what I had in my head originally is much higher. The plan today is to actually start pulling apart the S2000 underneath. This is the final time that this car is going to be looking this way with the ride height the way that it is. Very excited for this thing to be low, but also for all of these parts to make such a difference. So before we get this thing up in the air, as this took me so long to set up on the floor, let me walk you through exactly what I've ended up ordering. So we've got the Ktuned adjustable rear toe arms. I decided to go for these over the Hardrace ones because these have rubber bushes but are adjustable. The Hardrace ones are non-adjustable when they're rubber but adjustable when they're spherical. I wanted to stay hard and rubber, which you'll see as a theme. We've then got the Spoon Sports rear bump steer kit. This is, I think, an 8mm, slightly taller rear ball joint. We've got some new drop links for the rear. I've then opted to go for the full Spoon bush kit. I went for this one over the Hardrace one because from what I could tell, the extra bushes that come in the Hardrace kit, I don't think are necessary for what I need. Again, not gone polyurethane, because with how many bushes are on this thing, I've been told that it will ruin the car. We've then got the Nitron R1 with front axle lift, and that is to save this front lip. All of these that you can see in bags here. Oh, I didn't unbag all of these because I think the part number is going to be useful for knowing where they go moving forward. So yeah, all of this genuine Honda, got all of this from Japan, and in theory this is every single bolt on the underside of this thing that's probably seized and needs replacing. Hopefully this is everything. We'll find out, I suppose, as we get through the process. We've then got the Spoon rigid collars as well. Those go into the subframes. We've got a fuel pump, upgraded fuel pump. This is for two reasons. One is the plan for this is for it to be supercharged. That pump will handle the power that I need for that, and as the tank's coming down anyway for what's going on, seems crazy not to do it now. Also, I do seem to have this weird misfiring issue with this car at the moment, and we've looked at everything else and we're pretty sure that the only thing, because the only thing we haven't looked at yet is fueling, and before I bought this, it did sit around for quite a while, so I'm guessing that it's just pretty gunged up. Also, it's over 20 years old, so probably it's worth a change anyway. So that kills two birds with one stone. And then obviously, yeah, we've got the Nitrons for the rear as well. No lift on those. I decided to go for some Hardrace. These are the camber offset ball joints, and these, like James was saying when I was at Grip Lab, it's just a nice thing to do now. I probably don't need it, but I just thought, who knows what happens with this car in the future. It won't affect anything with my setup now. We've then got the Powerflex caster set. This is to replace that OEM section. These are stainless, I believe, and an upgrade, so hopefully this won't seize in the future as well. We've then got some more Tegua drop links for the front anti-roll bar, and we have these, which I've actually had in the box, in the boot of this car for about 3 years and never installed, so it seems like now is a good time to do these as well. So this is all the stuff that's going on the car, but let's get this car up in the air and we can talk about the plan underneath there. Okay, we are under the car. Joel is here. I just thought I'd, yeah, walk around and explain exactly what's going to happen, because this has escalated a bit.
As you said, the build has escalated ever so slightly. To start off with, we were just looking at replacement bushes, replacement ball joints to bring the suspension up to standard where it can all be geode, etc., because some of the bolts were corroded and they couldn't be adjusted. Now we are going to be looking at powder coating a lot of the steel parts, vapor blasting some of the aluminium parts, zinc plating all the bolts, doing a bit of a underside restoration on the car basically.
The plan is the engine's going to stay in the car, but everything else around this, it's got to come out to get bushes replaced anyway, so this is where this all began really. It's going to be interesting later how much force it's going to take to get stuff out of here. So on the front, what have we got coming off?
Front suspension arms will be coming off, top suspension arms, obviously all the shock and spring assembly. So obviously we've got the lovely new Nitron suspension to go on. All the steel parts from the car are going to be powder coated, drop links are going to be replaced, new ball joints. We're not quite 100% sure exactly yet, but potentially looking at removing the hubs down, splitting all the bearings apart and powder coating all those.
That is a decision for me based on, because you could pretty much go as far as you want with this, and I don't want to get scope creep too much. So if I don't decide to do the hubs now, I can do that later down the line. But equally, it probably does make sense to do that. This is the internal battle I'm having with myself right now. Also, if you see anything that you think I should change whilst we're here, also let me know. Anyway.
There's also the front roll bars as well. So we'll see how much of a struggle we end up with having with all the bolts. Obviously you have got a lot of the replacement adjuster bolts and bits and pieces. All the OEM bolts are going to be reused, will be zinc plated, and we're going to go for a yellow zinc on those, so those will be sent off and recoated. So we are going to be looking to doing some sort of coating to the underside of the car. We want to try and keep this a bit of an OEM look. We don't want anything that looks too, you know, like it's been covered up or anything like that. So we want to try and keep a nice OEM-ish look to it, just with like a black coating rather than what the factory is. So areas like this where we can see there is a bit of corrosion starting to set in. So the plan is that we will grind all those down, we'll epoxy prime those, and then we're just going to put a light coating on the whole from here back on the car whilst everything is all apart, to obviously preserve it for future use. It's not a car that's going to be used in very salty, bad conditions, but we just want to do what we can to protect it whilst it's all apart.
This heat shield, for example, I know with the EP3 I ended up getting a replacement because it had rusted through. I don't think this one's actually too bad. It does look like surface rust. Gonna just like restore stuff rather than replace as well, where we can, obviously. Plan it with the black is it's gonna look similar to the EP3 under here. So this sort of stuff is gonna get treated and looked at.
The areas that are okay, we're going to try and leave those as they are. Any of these, we're always trying to not overcomplicate it. So sometimes taking all the OEM seam sealer off can not always be the best option. What we feel for this car at the moment, for the condition it's in, we don't feel that it is necessary to go to that level. So coming down to the back, we're going to be doing a similar sort of thing again. The subframe, the suspension arms, the roll bars, all these is all going to be dropped out and powder coated. Replacement adjuster bolts, and the same again with all the bolts on the rear that are going to be reused. Those will be zinc plated. Replacement drop links, got some lovely adjustable tie rod arms, and same again obviously the Nitron suspension on the back of the vehicle as well.
I suppose also the thing is we're not 100% sure exactly on where we're going to put the pump for the front end lift, but it's probably going to end up in the boot floor.
Until we fully strip the car down, there is no doubt going to be odd little bits and pieces that are unexpected, extra parts potentially going to be needed, and obviously depending on what we do with the hubs and the drive shafts and the prop shaft and the rear diff, etc. Obviously it's one of those that can very easily escalate and snowball, so we'll see what joys we have with taking it apart.
Yeah, so that is what is going to happen right now.
We're going to pop this brace off so we can drop the exhaust down. So what we will start by doing is going and cracking all the suspension arm bolts off before we start taking anything else sort of fully out. The reason why we're going to do this is we don't want to be chasing the subframe around the floor. So whilst it's up bolted to the car, it's much easier to go around, crack all the bolts off once they're all loose, and then we can sort of go around and disassemble and wind it all apart from there. See how we go and see how many grinding discs we get.
Yeah, all right, this is it. This is actually the first bolt coming off of the car. This is weird for me because in my mind I've been thinking like one day this will happen, and that day is now. It's happening right now. We've got a box of stuff to go for zinc plating. May end up switching out bolts from OEM ones if they're too corroded. I'm not super worried about replacing them with OEM stuff. This stuff here, this is all a pile for what is going to be powder coated. Exhaust is coming off. Our first casualty, as you can see, bolts coming out. This one not so much. There's another one as well, and they've rounded, so that's fun. Pretty sure that this is the sign of things to come. And almost straight afterwards, another casualty. This drop link is not coming off. So James was right. That's why I ordered a full set of these, because it obviously doesn't matter. We can just cut this one out because we know we're just replacing it with fresh and new ones. The thing what's also weird about this for me is it doesn't totally matter what actually happens, and it's usually you're obviously like, please don't break, but because I have the replacements, I don't mind as much as the bush is spinning, not the bolts. Jeez, this one is properly in there. So these bolts are ready to come out. I do actually need to return this shock because I'm borrowing this. So shout out to Andy once again for letting me use that. But it looks like these bolts do need cutting out, but we're not gonna cut them out on the car because the whole subframe's coming down. You've just got more flexibility on where you can put this. The split pin and the castle nut have undone on both sides of the rear ball joints. The bolts here for the toe arms on both sides have also cracked. So the next plan of attack is to hit the diff and get this out, because that will then mean we get the drive shafts out, which then means we get more access to bolts without having to fight the drive shaft. So diff is almost ready to come out, but it is still full of fluid, and obviously this is coming down, so it seems crazy again not to refresh this with new fluid. So we're going to drain that out and then this will be lighter. I've always heard that it stinks, this diff oil, and I can confirm that is true.
You can just see obviously a slight bit of wear, but that's normal for a car. As this sort of age and this mileage, there's no big chunks. Obviously with the gears being in mesh, there will always be slight debris over time, but it's quite minimal. But yeah, definitely do a change.
One S2000 diff. So the car has come down and it's starting on the process of the top arms now that stuff is out of the way, and all of this side has cracked off and is like free. Joel's working on the other side currently. Just more process of undoing things and hoping that everything is actually going to come undone. So we're stripping apart in the rear now to be able to get to the top mount, as well as the sensor plug for the ABS sensor. That's the same for both sides. This one on this side is way more buried because of the fuel filler neck. But we've got both sensors unplugged currently. So all the bolts are now out from in here. And as you can see, we've got some ballast in here as well, because as everything is coming off the back of the car, there is going to be no weight over the back of this thing. Engine's in the front, obviously. So I've got this lovely Motul ballast in these big containers here, and it's purely just to weigh it all down. And these rear shock coming out. So next up is getting the subframe off, and the part to do before that's even possible is we've got to disconnect the brakes, because this, you can see here, this runs through the subframe. It's time to try and get the ball joints apart now. Just realized that it looks like the heat shieldy thing is in between things, which means this has to be pulled apart to get those out, because there's no point in leaving those all rusty and gross, which means I'm probably going to end up doing something to do with these hubs as well. Subframe is ready to come down. Now usually we put it on like a hydraulic table thing. That is currently occupied by a GR Yaris engine, so we can't do that. So we're gonna have to do it the old school way, lower this down and put it on axle stand. And here is the rear subframe down and out of the car. There's the fuel tank as well, so that's obviously gonna get dropped out. This is wild. There's like nothing in the rear end of my car.
So the next step is going to be tackling the front. A little bit of the same of what was on the rear, a little bit more straightforward on the front.
Is it going as you thought it would be?
Yes, about what I expected. There's always going to be some challenges and some bolts to give a fight, but no, it seems to be going okay.
Okay, well, as this is going to be similar, we're going to time lapse this next section and we'll get back to you unless something happens. So underneath is as stripped down as we're going to get to. Let me show you what's going on, because we've found out some things that I had missed out on order.
We've taken the top arms off, taken the shock assemblies out, and the steering rack is unbolted from the subframe. The roll bar is off. So we're basically at the point where we can drop the front subframe out. We're not going to do it just right this second in time, just because we're going to wait for a couple of extra stands and bits and pieces to brace the engine whilst it was all apart. One thing that we have run into a slight issue with on the front that we were expecting, to be honest, is the arse and just the bolts that come up through these lower arms. Same problem we have got on the rear. The insert is just seized into the bush, so it's going to be a case of once we drop the subframe down, to be honest, the best way is going to be just to cut them out. So we've got new parts to go in. So yeah, drop subframe down, cut those out, lower arms out, and then we're there. We found out that there's a few things that I need to order, because everything that I ordered for this was under the impression that I was just going to be doing everything suspension alignment related things. On the suspension arms, I'll just quickly grab one of them to show you. With them being powder coated, we'll press the joints out. Obviously, it's no point putting the old ones back in, so it's best practice putting new ones in. This is for the front top arms and also on the rear of the car as well.
So I'm going to order 4 of those. Also, we found on the front, these here, I've got this half of it, and I'm going to order, because obviously I'm changing the geometry, there's a roll center version from Hardrace for this as well to help get the geometry back to where it should be, because we're now lowering it. At the rear here, this is the fuel line and brake lines and stuff.
So we're taking this plastic cover down, or partially down. As you see from here, we've got some quite bad corrosion starting to form on this. So this is the fuel feed line to the engines. Obviously, with the point they're at now, it would be silly not to do something with this whilst we're here. So a couple of options we're going to decide on. Also the brake lines, we can see from here ever so slightly, this brake line here is just starting to get a bit of corrosion on this edge. This does involve stripping all the subframe down, etc., to get to this line. So same again, best practice, whilst we are there, we're going to replace that as well.
And also this then leads into what happens next. And so what that is all of this stuff, well, most of this stuff is going off to powder coating and everything. So this is pretty much the final amount of stuff. Obviously there's no front and rear subframe down here. Oh, also, I decided to do the hubs. The only downside to doing the hubs is the sensor side of things, because hopefully they'll be able to come out, but I know from previous experience that that is an absolute nightmare. Hopefully don't have to buy 3 more new ones. And the other thing I forgot to mention is I hadn't ordered any anti-roll bar bushes or anything. It's obviously escalated already, but it's good to know that apart from those bits which wouldn't have happened if I wasn't going to this extent, we do seem to have everything. We checked all the bolts and everything all lines up with what I actually need, which is great. There's a few more bits that need to come off as well. So the next time I see this car, it's going to be getting on to actually sorting and prepping the underside as well. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any more episodes on the underside of this thing. Huge shout out to Joel and Ignite Automotive for actually taking on this project and being involved. So leave a comment down below. Don't forget to also like this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.